The fourth principle says business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. I told you, in Agile, customer is not a guest. Once in a while he comes, waves his hand. Yep, he's not a guest. He should work daily along with the development team. The business people, if you see, in Scrum we call him as a product owner. In some other methodology, we may call as a customer. But all the agile methodologies, they say that the customer should closely work with the development team on a daily basis. Only then the agile projects would be successful, remember. And most of these rules in various methodologies, they are derived from these principles. So since the principle says business people and developers must work together, Scrum created a role called product owner. Probably before these principles were developed itself, they may not have done it, but these frameworks are aligned with this. Then build projects around motivated individuals. So choose your team members who are upbeat, who are motivated, and this is the most important element. Give them the environment and support they need and trust them to get the job done. They are more talking about the self-organizing teams here in the context of self-organizing. So you nurture such an environment, right? And so that they can take their own decision making and provide the support. And the most important element is trust them. Trust them. In Agile, trust is one of the most important factor that you need to inculcate within the teams. So build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need and trust them to get the job done. And the next principle says the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. So in the development team, the most preferred method of conversation is face-to-face conversation. So I keep on telling you, Agile is more of human interactions. It's not that you give a document and you ask them to walk through the document and to understand it. Instead, have a discussion. It's not what are the functionality you are looking at. Instead of writing on a document and giving it to the development team, which we do mostly in traditional project management, encourage the people to talk and get the clarifications done. And the next principle says, working software is the primary measure of progress. It's not that how much you have completed, whether it's working or not. Hey, I have completed 99%, you'll say at the end of the iteration. It's not that you have completed 99% or 95% or 90%. Tell me whether it is in working condition or not. That's the only measure. Many times it's so common in the team when we ask, have we done with the weekly report? We say 95% done. Can we send that report or not? Tell me that. It's not 95% or 99%. So whether the software is in working condition or not, that's the primary measure of progress. That's how your mindset should. And the next principle says, Agile processes promote sustainable development. What do you mean by sustainable development? Most of the times, we see something called as death march projects. Death march. What do you mean by death march? During the death time, you will march. You will hasten the things and you will start expediting the things, which is not the right approach. If the project stint is 2 iterations, that is equivalent to 10 working days, till 7th day, 8th day, you'll be doing in a relaxation mode. In the last 2 days, you try to hurry the things. That happens. Normally, we call it as student syndrome. Probably when we were students, we all suffered through that. Student syndrome. In psychology, there's a term called student syndrome. Student syndrome is they relax all throughout, and at the end, they will try to hurry the things. If the examination is in the next 30 days, 25 days, they relax. So whatever the preparation holidays they have given, they just relax and they go in a relaxed manner. But in the last 5 days, they try to hurry the things. They wake throughout the night and they start doing it. This is not sustainable development. These are all called as death march projects. So what they say, your development should happen in a sustainable manner, in a consistent manner. at a constant pace. So the sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. This word constant pace is a key here. How do you ensure this? Based on this principle, in many methodologies, they created an event or a ceremony called as daily stand-up meeting. You all remember the daily stand-up meeting, right? In daily stand-up meeting, we have a question. We ask questions. What have you done yesterday? What have you done today? Right? These questions will make sure that the people are maintaining a constant pace all throughout the project. As I told you, first day you will say, hey, I am designing the payment gateway. Wonderful. Second day, yesterday I was designing the payment gateway. Today also I will design the payment gateway. Very good. Third day, how many days you can tell in front of other stakeholders, be it your team, your scrum master, or your product owner can be part of the meeting, daily stand-up meeting, right? So you'll feel ashamed. And then you make sure that you're working on a constant pace. So everyone, not only you, even the customers also, the sponsors, developers, users, everyone should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. The next principle says continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. If your agile projects has to be successful, it's not only just following the processes. You should provide a continuous attention to technical excellence also. There are few things which we'll be learning later, like pair programming, which we'll discuss later. Briefly, I will explain. How do you achieve the technical excellence? When technical excellence means technically you're doing the correct things and the quality of your product technically is good. There's something called as pair programming. Pair programming is something two programmers will be working on the code at the same time under the same roof sitting next to each other. So let us say I am one programmer and Harish is another programmer. So we both sit together. So I will be writing a piece of code, Harish will be observing from the behind. And he will suggest me, hey Ram, the same code you can achieve with less number of lines using a different method. And then we will swap the rules. Then subsequently Harish will be writing the piece of code and I will be sitting next to him and I will give my inputs. Pair programming, over a period of time, it proved that the quality of code will be better. Not only that, the knowledge transfer will be enormous. I know certain methods. I know a way of doing the coding, and my other counterpart also knows different ways of doing the coding. So pair programming is one. And we have something called as test-driven development or test-first development, test-driven development. So you will be writing the test cases first, and according to the test cases, you write the program. There are various things, which ensures the Agile recommends to use in your project, which ensures the technical excellence is good. And also when you are designing the software in the first place, if you do it in a better way, it enhances the agility, right? If the design is not good, tomorrow if customer asks to change something at the end, can you change it? Because your design is not flexible. Your design is too complex that at that time it becomes very difficult to give a new functionality. So if you have a flexible design as per the standards, obviously it enhances the agility. Agility is all about changing at any point in time, right? So continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. And the next principle says simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. I need your attention to understand the concept. Slightly tricky to understand this principle. They're asking to make your design or your software simple. How do you do that? When can your software become complex? Your application can become complex. When you load with tons of features, whether they are required or not, then your design becomes very complex and huge. So again, here they are saying talking about prioritization indirectly. You do a prioritization, and I was saying that 40 to 50% of the features are never used in any software. So identify those low value, high risk features, low value, low risk features, and if you remove them, obviously your design becomes simple. So what they're saying is you should inculcate an art of maximizing. What do you maximize? The amount of work not done is essential. What work you won't do? Which work you won't do? Which is not required, which is not essential. It means low value, high risk, low value, low risk. This is the work you won't do. It's not required. So indirectly they are saying increase the amount of work not required. Not required. So what is the work that is not required in your product? You increase that, you maximize that, you spend more on prioritization. You see which are of high value items, right? And you also identify which are the items which are not required. Indirectly they are saying do the prioritization. So then your product will become simple. So this is more related to the prioritization. And the best architectures, requirements, designs emerge from self-organizing teams. This is what they're talking about. Empower your team members. Make your team members to organize themselves. See that no one is directing and controlling them. They are directing themselves. They are controlling themselves. When you make the team self-organizing and empowered, they give you the best, be it architecture, be it design, or anything. If you are directing and control, what happens? They just work the way the project manager says. They don't start thinking. They don't start thinking out of the box. The same paradigm blindness will be followed through generations. If someone is telling this is how you should do it, this is what you should do it. That's what as parents also we do. So you're killing the creativity of the team. You're not allowing the thought process to be instigated in the team members, right? So here again they're emphasizing on the self-organizing teams, and they're saying that the best comes if the teams are self-organized rather than directing and control. And the next principle says at regular intervals the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Periodically, they're suggesting you do a retrospection. The team, they convene and they discuss, hey, how should we become more effective? What are the mistakes we are doing? And how should we adjust to that? Indirectly, they're talking about the sprint retrospectives. So based on this, there's an event that has been built in sprint called as sprint retrospection. If you can recall, there's an event or a ceremony called sprint retrospection. Once the sprint review is done, the team will discuss, start doing, stop doing, and continue doing. What are the good things from now we have to start, which we are not doing earlier? Stop doing. What are the bad things we are doing and we have to stop? And continue doing. What are the good deeds we are already doing and how do we continue in the future as well? So these are the 12 principles